All right, viewers, our top story comes in from an incident that had taken place 10 years ago, where Muhammad Akhlaq was lynched. He and his son were dragged out of their residence. They used to live in a small village in Dadri, Uttar Pradesh. A temple close by announced that there was beef in the refrigerator of Akhlaq. They both were bought out. Akhlaq died. And 10 years on, the Uttar Pradesh government has now decided to withdraw the cases against the 19 accused, which leads us to ask one question: who lynched Akhlaq? Did no one lynch Muhammad Akhlaq? 10 years on, Uttar Pradesh government moves to drop charges against all accused. Are we normalizing hate? One incident 10 years ago left the country in shock. Muhammad Akhlaq was mob lynched in a village in Dadri, Uttar Pradesh, on charges of cow slaughter and storing beef. An incident that glaringly exposed the deepening communal fault lines in the Hindi heartland. The then Home Minister, Rajnath Singh, had promised action against those trying to break communal harmony. A case dragged on for a decade. The 19 accused were out on bail. 10 years after the brutal lynching of Muhammad Akhlaq, the Uttar Pradesh government has now moved to withdraw all charges against those accused in the case. On 15th October 2025, the state filed an application under Section 321 of the Criminal Procedure Code, seeking to drop all charges against 19 accused. The government cited 5 reasons. Reason 1, the family of Akhlaq, his wife, daughter and son, allegedly changed their testimony. A charge denied by the family. Reason 2, investigators reportedly only recovered sticks, iron rods and bricks, not firearms or sharp weapons. Reason 3, the application claims that there was no documented prior hostility between Akhlaq's family and the accused. Reason 4, the state invokes the right to equal protection, arguing that every citizen, both accused and accuser, deserve fairness under the law. Reason 5, the application frames this withdrawal as a step to restore social harmony in a deeply polarizing context.
केस एविडेंस में चल रहा है. एविडेंस में चलते हुए ये प्रार्थना पत्र न्यायालय में प्रेषित किया गया है. अब इसमें न्यायालय सुनवाई करेगी और अपने ये है कि आदेश देगी. हमें पूरी उम्मीद है न्यायालय से हमें न्याय मिलेगा.
The matter simmering in political stew for a decade is now on full boil.
तो क्या अब इस उत्तर प्रदेश में बुलडोजरी न्याय इतना अधिनायकवादी और इतना बर्बर हो चुका है कि लोगों की हत्याएं होंगी? अगर हत्या करने वाले योगी आदित्यनाथ के और सरकार के समर्थक होंगे तो उनके मुकदमे वापस ले लिए जाएंगे. क्या उत्तर प्रदेश में ये मान लिया जाए कि रूल ऑफ लॉ अब कोई चीज नहीं बची है?
On 28 September 2015, Bisada village of Dadri, a mob had dragged Akhlaq and his son Danish from their home after a temple announced, accusing him of storing beef. The case caused national uproar then, leading to arrests, media attentions and debates. 2 years later, a forensic report from a lab in Mathura confirmed that the meat seized from Akhlaq's home indeed belonged to a cow or its progeny. Akhlaq's family, though alleged tampering with samples. However, as the media spotlight faded, 10 years on, Bisada Dadri is a village torn by communal violence. Akhlaq's house lies abandoned. The Hindu-Muslim wedge has cut in so deep to ever mend again. And now, the state, wanting to drop all charges, the subtext, which is now bolder than the headline. Are we normalizing hate?
All right, add to that, a shocking case of lynching accused not facing consequences. Kashinath Choudhry, one accused in Palghar of lynching sadhus, joined the BJP with thousands of supporters in the presence of MP Hemant Savara at the party's district president office. The move immediately triggered sharp criticism from the opposition. The NCP leaders questioned the BJP's hypocrisy, and the BJP has now temporarily halted his membership. In an address to the media, Choudhry said his family is under immense mental pressure due to the reports circulating in the media at the time of the incident. He said he had gone to another place and was instead blamed for the incident. For now, his joining the Bharatiya Janata Party has been put on hold due to the criticism. But on the other account, viewers, let's focus on what happened at the Dadri village 10 years ago. And Akhlaq today, still no justice delivered, where the Uttar Pradesh police is actually looking at taking back the cases against the 19 accused. Joining me for more, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, Anila Singh, national spokesperson, BJP, Swati Khanna, advocate, Delhi High Court. I'd like to begin with Swati. Swati is somebody who's taken many cases such as this in the past, that is. Swati, would you take a moment to reflect? It's been a decade. You know, at that point of time, multiple media debates, you had the Home Minister then, Mr. Rajnath Singh, come out and say that strongest action would be taken for anyone who's trying to, bring communal disharmony. All of that has now faded. Strangely, the Uttar Pradesh government has decided to withdraw the case, drop the case against the 19 accused.
Thank you. Thank you for first calling me to this discussion. I just want to say that this is not shocking to me because I feel that this is the modus operandi of the state. Why? Because even though it's an egregious, horrendous act of a ruling power in collusion with the murderers, I still see that the person who commits a crime is a murderer, but the person who hides the crime, aids the murderer, is also an accomplice. So I would call the state here an accomplice to the murder. And it is not just murder, it's cold blood murder. And it's still, when I was listening to your story, it still sends chill down my spine when I hear that a mob led by BJP local leader's son and his cousin, everybody went to his house and killed the person, and also the son who was also grievously injured. Now the case is still going on. Now, first of all, justice is not delivered. That is for sure. Justice is also delayed. First of all, 10 years have passed. There's no conviction, no acquittal. Case still on evidence stage. Now, yes, I did deal with a few other cases where I have been defending some accused who are human rights activists under UAPA. They are languishing in jail 5+ years without a trial. Here the trial is going on. They got a bail in 302. They are out. Now the government has the audacity to blatantly come out and file such an application at the 321 or 360 corresponding to BNSS. And I just have to question myself that as young lawyers and also lawyers who are officers of court, we just don't have to follow the letter of law which says 321, section 321. Okay, there's a section 321 which allows you to withdraw the case. But there's also something called spirit of law. Where is the spirit of law here? Now, I do understand that this application is pending and it has to be decided on December 12, if I'm not wrong. So on December 12, I would urge that, I hope that the learned session judge dismisses this application.
Swati, okay, you had 2 minutes, those are over. Anila Singh, we're going to give you 2 extra minutes because we have a 2 against 1 panel, and primarily it's happened is because the prosecution, from the side of those 19 accused, or the lawyer of the 19 accused, chose not to come. So Anila Singh, I'm going to come back to you and then we'll go to Tehseen and we'll come back to you. But Anila Singh, the government has given, and that's your government. You represent the Uttar Pradesh government. You're a spokesperson for the Uttar Pradesh government. Therefore, we have you on the show. 5 reasons, Anila Singh, that the government has given on why they need to drop the cases against the 19 accused. Number 1, the family of Akhlaq allegedly changed their testimonies over time. On record, the family says that they have not changed their testimonies. They've identified 12 of the 19 accused, and they continue to do so. identified 12 of the 19 accused. Number 2, and tell me, Anila Singh, if you don't find this bizarre, that this is what the government says, that reportedly that investigating team only recovered rods, iron rods, bricks and sticks. No sharp weapon was recovered. Therefore, how can a person be beaten to death or lynched? I would reckon you would understand that iron rods were recovered, bricks were recovered. Number 3, the application claims there was no documented prior hostility. So just because Akhlaq and the 19 accused did not have prior animosity or enmity, therefore, how can they actually come and kill Akhlaq? Number 4, the state invokes the right to equal protection, arguing that every citizen has the right to defend themselves. Number 5, and this is a little bizarre, the state says that the withdrawal is a step to restore social harmony in a polarized society. Ma'am, I would think, let's begin with number 5, we'll come to number 2, is taking steps, speedy deliverance of justice would be something that will deliver social harmony. And number 2, you tell me, ma'am, iron rod, brick, is that enough to kill somebody, or do you really need a sharp weapon or an arm, a rifle?
My Ram to all, and Preeti, I am not expert in doing murders, and I am not a detective, I am not a police officer, so I do not know by which weapons you can kill and by which weapons you cannot kill. So I won't be able to comment on the question which you have asked me right now. But let me, to start with, first of all, let me make it absolutely clear that the Dadri incident is not only obnoxious, it is tragic, it is condemnable. And my government, my political party, totally criticize it. And we do not support any sort of mob violence. But Preeti, here, in democracy, justice has to be based on facts, evidence, and due process. Like not on political narratives or the media trials or on the sentiments. Just now I was listening to the Advocate Swati, and she was saying that the present government in Uttar Pradesh is accomplice in this murder. Perhaps she doesn't know the case properly. That is why she's making such comments. And as an advocate, she must know this thing, that any trial or any justice is not given on the basis of any sort of sentiments. All right. So proper investigation with facts, with evidences, everything should be there, and then the justice is delivered. Just now she was making all sentimental speech as any politician would have done. And you narrated the 5 things which the prosecutor has pleaded in the court, that why this case under section 321 should be withdrawn. And I am pretty sure that the honorable court is wise enough and knows all the legalities before it is going to take any sort of step or the justice will be delivered. So why it is being taken that Bharatiya Janata Party government in Uttar Pradesh simply wants to polarize. Let me complete.
I'll come back to you. You'll get your 2 minutes later. Ma'am, you're going to get 2 extra minutes, then the panel, because like I said, it's 2:1. But I'll come back to the point which you said that you're not an expert. But ma'am, I think you're a very smart lady. I've had you on my show multiple times, and you would know and understand and accept that iron rod is enough to lynch someone and kill them. And I would think you'd understand that. Any smart person would, and you're very smart. But I'll come back to you later, and I'll also come back to you on other points on why is the government being bought in? Because the government has chosen to drop the cases on these reasons. It is, of course, the courts to decide whether or not they accept the plea. But Tehseen, I want to bring you into this conversation because 10 years too late, absolutely no justice, and contradictory. And the irony of it is that today you have a state government that wants to drop a charge on the basis of social harmony, the sheer fact on why justice needs to be delivered.
Thank you for having me on the show, Preeti. Good evening to my fellow panelists and to your viewers. Point number 1. These are serious charges of murder 302, 307 that have been put on the accused. These cannot simply be dropped like that. In the Supreme Court judgment of Tehseen Poonawala versus Union of India, specifically on mob lynching, there were guidelines of how investigation would be carried out, how trial would be carried out. All of these have been violated by the state. Now let's see what Anila Singh says. She says very eruditely that, listen, the facts will speak for themselves. So what are the facts? She's correct on that. The facts is the statements that the state speaks about, that the statements have been inconsistent, were actually given under 164 to the magistrate. These are statements that are ironclad given to the magistrate. They haven't changed. How does the state now interfere and say, oh, the statement given to a magistrate is prima facie wrong or not wrong? That is for the court of law to decide. I have for the first time heard in my life that you cannot murder with iron rods or sticks or bricks or what have you. So the next time you're going on the road and there's an accident and a mob comes up and kills somebody, hey, you know what? Since you just had iron rods, you didn't murder anybody because you didn't have weapons. And by the way, that is also the argument for no prior enmity. So if there's a street accident and then a mob catches and kills somebody, we just have to say nobody killed anybody because there's no prior enmity. In this particular case, the statement of the family is on record, and I'd gone to Dadri when this incident had happened, saying that the meat samples have also been tampered with. That also has not been withdrawn. For the state to attempt to intervene this way, while the trial is in evidence stage, shows that the state is scared and is trying to protect its own people who've now joined the BJP. These are the Rana people who've joined the BJP. It does not go with the vision of the nation. It is anti-constitutional. And I will take up this case in the Honorable Supreme Court. And the violations of my case, if they try to do this, they will have to face defeat.
All right. Swati, thank you for joining us. I want to give the last 4 minutes to Anila as well as, Tehseen Poonawala. But Anila Singh, coming back to you, ma'am, your 2 minutes begin now because you went on to state that why is everyone blaming the BJP government in Uttar Pradesh? Nobody's quite blaming the Bharatiya Janata Party government, ma'am. But questions today need to be asked. At the back of number one, what the reasons your government is giving to withdraw the case against 19 individuals who today stand connected to your own party. I will hark you back 10 years on. This is the same case, Anila Singh, where a member of your own political party who was a cabinet minister then took an Indian flag and draped that Indian flag on one of the accused of murdering Akhlaq. So there is context to it. And today, the government, on the pretext, the grounds are so flimsy, anyone can see through that. To protect social harmony, one needs to withdraw the cases. I would think it would be on the contrary, Anila Singh. You'd understand that.
Okay, Preeti, I will make 3-4 quick points here. Number one, I will say that the present government, like you, everybody like Tehseen and you and one of my co-panelists who is sitting here as an advocate, they are saying that the government is accomplice in it, and how come the government can go ahead and request the court to take off all the charges from the accused?
I'm not saying government is accomplice. Even I don't think Tehseen is saying that. But the government to do so is answerable. Go ahead, ma'am, make your point.
Swati had said that. Okay. So the government has only made a request. It is not a verdict. The final decision rests with the honorable court. What decision they have to take. It is not on the executive, but on the judiciary. So anyone saying that the government has given clean chit is totally a misleading statement. Secondly, I just want to know from the Samajwadi Party government, I would have loved if somebody from Samajwadi Party would have been here.
Ma'am, can I hold your time? I'd like to hold your time. And I want to ask you a question. You says nobody's saying the government's given a clean chit. How is it that the government's not given a clean chit where the government has put in a petition to drop all charges against the 19 accused? The government believes they're innocent then.
No, government has not declared anybody innocent here.
Why ask the charges to be dropped?
Allow me. You've given me 4 minutes. I think I should be given at least some time to speak myself. You have asked me that, yes, your government has given a clean chit. On this, I am saying that the prosecutor is going to place all the facts and the evidences, and ultimately, judiciary has to take the decision that the evidences are supporting the things which are being told by the prosecutor. And I need to ask the Samajwadi Party government that why didn't they ensure strong evidences? Why didn't they secure a single solid falsity chain? Why were contradictory statements allowed to enter the record? Why? They did it. Because the earlier investigation itself was casual, politically influenced, and it was the hurried one. And under the current government treaty, I'll say one thing, that the law and order is stronger, police accountability is higher, and cases are reviewed on merits, and then they are taken to the court, and the court has to decide.
I don't understand why you're blaming the Samajwadi Party, but there's no time for that. Tehseen, your 2 minutes begin now.
Look, let me just tell Anila Singh ji that whatever the statements was, what finally counts is the statement before the magistrate in the court of law, which the family has been consistent with. A government can't go back in time and say, this is what happened, that's what happened. What's on record stays. They are challenging that. The public prosecutor is acting on orders of the government of Uttar Pradesh. Therefore, the government of Uttar Pradesh is trying to diffuse this case. Now, the idea is communal harmony, therefore, to create communal harmony, I think communal harmony would better be created if we don't have a mob that lynches or murders people. Today, this is a Muslim man who's been murdered. Tomorrow, what if it's a woman, a third gender, somebody of another religion, another caste? Is this acceptable? And then somebody comes and says, for communal harmony, it's okay, somebody got murdered, let's withdraw the case. What kind of a reasoning in this? In law, like in life, one is pregnant or not pregnant. You can't be half pregnant. You can't withdraw cases because we have to ensure communal harmony. To ensure communal harmony, the government has to ensure crime doesn't take place. And to ensure crime doesn't take place, those who are accused of perpetrating a horrific, barbaric crime should be punished, not be made members of the BJP, and not be and a tricolor which we drape upon those who've been martyred for India should not be draped upon those who've involved in allegedly mob lynching. The fact that rods, the fact that sticks, the fact that bricks are found, the fact that a family is victimized for something that they may or may not have had in their fridge. Let me go ahead and say, even if they had something wrong in their fridge, does the law allow mobs to, are we allowed to take the law into our hands? I think the Uttar Pradesh government would be better served, the people of India would be better served if the law of the land prevails. Then where there is no justice, there you will not get investments. Where there is no justice and law, you will not have harmony. For harmony to prevail, the first law is justice should be delivered. That was the law Lord Krishna said while revealing the Gita to Arjuna.
You have 1 minute, Anila Singh, to respond, and then I'm going to close the debate. We're giving you that extra minute, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, Preeti, I was waiting for this statement, and ultimately, Mr. Tehseen Poonawala, he made it. He made it all about Hindu and Muslim here. He did not see it from the point of view that anybody like who attacked and the person who got attacked are the citizens of Uttar Pradesh, and law is equal for everybody. But here he wants to communalize. Bharatiya Janata Party doesn't want to communalize. Bharatiya Janata Party says that, okay, whatever the judiciary is going to say, we are going to say, fine. Okay, government is keeping facts in front of the court. But here, Mr. Poonawala is communalizing. This is what I want to
I'll hold your time. I'll hold your time. Allow me to ask you a counter question. The nature of the crime in itself was communal, ma'am. You do understand why Akhlaq was lynched. You do understand that, right? He was lynched because he was accused of storing beef. He was lynched because he was accused of cow slaughter. That in itself is communal.
So this becomes the reason to get the whole atmosphere communalized. All right. You are not going to see from the magnifying glass of peace and harmony, which should be prevail in our state.
Ma'am, you know, I think I actually am at a loss of words, because I would think peace and harmony to prevail would mean deliverance of justice. There's in 10 seconds and I'm going into a break.
Yeah, it is the same thing. Peace and harmony means justice be given, and mobs don't come form mobs and go kill somebody based on any identity, be it religious, caste or gender. That's when peace and harmony will prevail.
You know, we're going to leave it at that, but this is a story we're going to keep a keen eye on, because there's lots that goes on where TV debates are concerned. Lot is debated, very few topics of relevance. 10 years ago, this man was lynched. Who lynched him? Today, there is an attempt to exonerate all 19 that were accused in this case. The matter, of course, lies with the court and the intelligence, wisdom of the court.
Good morning, sir.
The 4-member delegation team led by the Senior Deputy Election Commissioner Gyanesh Bharti arrived in Kolkata on Tuesday to review and speed up the ongoing special intensive revision of electoral roll of West Bengal. The entire process has generated enough bad blood between the ruling party and the opposition. The leader of opposition in Bengal, Subhendu Adhikari, in a press conference alleged that the Trinamool Congress is trying to influence and confuse block-level officers through district administrators.
আপনি বিডিওদের যে সেকশনটা তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস এবং প্রত্যেকটা বিডিও অফিসে বেলা 2টার সময় আইপ্যাকের লোকেরা বিডিওদের সঙ্গে বসে মিটিং করছে, আমাদের কাছে ভিডিও ছবি আছে। আপনারা যদি ভাবেন মমতা ব্যানার্জি, মনোজ পন্থ আর এক শ্রেণীর চটিচাটা ডিএমরা আপনাদের বাঁচাবে, ও সব হবে না। ইলেকশন কমিশন যেমন সজাগ আছে, ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টি এবারে প্রত্যেকটি ব্লগ ভিডিও বুথে আমরা আছি। এবং
अगर आप बिहार को फॉर्म देखे थे, उधर में खाली 4 इंटरोगेशन है और कुछ नहीं है, पीछे पूरा लिखा है कैसे क्या करना चाहिए। बंगाल के कारण एसआईआर बिहार में एक रकम, बंगाल में एक रकम।
Since the electoral roll reforms started in West Bengal, the war of words and allegations between BJP and Trinamool Congress have been going on constantly. The Prime Minister's comment hinting how SIR will help BJP win Bengal next year has only added fire to the fuel.
गंगा जी यहाँ बिहार से बहते हुए ही बंगाल तक पहुंचती है। बिहार ने बंगाल में भाजपा की विजय का रास्ता भी बना दिया है।
আরে আমাদের সাথে খেলা অত সহজ নয়। আমরা খেলার আগে পিচটা দেখে নিই, আমরা খেলার আগে খেলাটা জেনে নিই।
All right, so the political face-off continues. The process of SIR starts in the state of war now. You can literally say that because West Bengal going up to elections in the next 6 months, and all eyes on West Bengal as the SIR special intensive role revision takes place. Let's cut across to our panelists this evening. Joining me, Sanju, Varma, spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party; Tausifur, Rahman, spokesperson TMC; Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist. Shikha Mukherjee, one thought that the last election in Bengal was polarizing. Then we were mostly completely wrong, because what we are looking at right now, is going to be one of the fiercest face-offs, and the grounds of that face-off was laid by the Prime Minister in his victory speech of Bihar.
Absolutely. I mean, the Prime Minister's victory speech was also a declaration that of intent of what he was going to do in West Bengal. Now, having said that, the polarization is now happening on so many levels and in so many ways that it's actually worth listing some of it. One, there is the SIR, which, the Mamata Banerjee on the one hand, the BJP on the other. And then there is this polarization of who is an illegal immigrant. The problem with this illegal immigrant story is that if you look at the Matwas have just called off their hunger strike today. One section of Matwas were on hunger strike and they've just called it off today. The point is that they want assurances from the Trinamool Congress that nothing will happen to them through this SIR process. They will not be disenfranchised. They will not be stigmatized as illegal immigrants, and that their rights will be protected. Now, if you look at the polarization in that sense, it becomes a kind of fight between one set of voters or one set of people and a different set of people, all of them vying for the same space. Why? Because the Matwas are considered to be BJP's stronghold. The Trinamool is also claiming that this is their stronghold. And the Matwas themselves are split. So if you look at the whole of it, there is the SIR, which is divisive. There is the division between the Hindu protecting the Hindus from the Muslim invasion. There are all kinds of numbers that are being tossed about by all kinds of experts in Bengal, where where are these voters, extra voters coming from?
Ma'am, I'll just come back to you. We're going on the 2-minute window, and I want to bring in Sanju Varma into this conversation. The beauty of an SIR and an incumbent government, Sanju Varma, is in Bihar, it was the opposition that was saying that you were manipulating the process, and the latest news that has come in from West Bengal is where the BJP says that the BLAs are being manipulated by the TMC.
Preeti, first and foremost, let's get one thing very clear. SIR is a constitutional exercise, wide Article 326 of the Constitution, and Sudhanshu Dhulia of the Supreme Court has said it in as many words. The second point I want to make is that, everybody who's been demonizing the SIR, I'll come to the BLAs and BLOs, everybody who's been demonizing the SIR saying that this is BJP's tantra, in order to steal elections. Let me remind your audience, which is one of the biggest stakeholders in debates such as these. SIR was held between 1952 and 56 when Nehru was the PM. It was again held in 1956 under the aegis of Nehru, 1961 under the aegis of Nehru, 1965 under Lal Bahadur Shastri, 1966 under Indira Gandhi, between 1983 and 84, before her death again under Indira Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi, it was held between 1987 and 89, under PV Narasimha Rao between 1993, again under PV Narasimha Rao in 1995, 1995, under Atal Bihari Vajpayee between 2002 and 2003, under Manmohan Singh in states like Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh in 2004, and of course, under the aegis of the Modi government in Bihar in 2025, and now in 12 other states and union territories. So the second point I'm making is SIR कोई पहली बार नहीं हो रहा है, सदियों से 1951 से होता चला आ रहा है, irrespective of who's in power at the center. The third and most important point I want to make is that while Article 20 and 21 of Representation of People's Act 1950-51 and registration of Electoral Rules 1960, SIR is deemed a legitimate exercise for the last 7.5 decades. So please stop crying. And when I say that, I mean to the opposition, stop crying, stop doing your Rona Dhona.
All right, the TMC spokesperson now. Sanju Varma might say that there are accusations of it being a tantra, mantra or shadyantra, whichever way you might want to look at it. Tausifur Rahman. The fact is, at least what we do have, and maybe the TMC can take heart in that, the data that we do have right now, illegals was something that the SIR was conducted in Bihar, but the number of illegals that were found are either so minute in Bihar that the EC hasn't declared them, or they weren't any, because we don't have any numbers on any illegals found in Bihar at the back of SIR.
Good evening, Preeti. And, first of all, I want to start the Biharis and the people of Bihar will never forget Election Commission because there was no transparency. But I would like to start what the Chief Minister of Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, said. As long as I live, the CAA will not be implemented in Bengal. And why I'm starting with CAA? Because it's a backdoor because this SIR is a backdoor of NRC and CAA. No one ever will have to leave the state or the country, Preeti. There will be no detention camps in Bengal either. We should not harass those people who are already Indians. Many of these people are the beneficiaries of several development projects in Bengal. Now, Preeti, I'll explain you something. Till now, 20 people have either died or attempted suicide due to the fear of SIR and NRC. The BJP must answer how many more lives will be lost before they stop weaponizing citizenship for the votes. In North 24 Pargana, when the other lady was talking about the Matuas, in North 24 Pargana, the BJP has turned citizenship into a business. From the Matua Mahasangha office in Thakur Nagar, under the Union Minister Shantanu Thakur and his brother Subrata Thakur, BJP workers were charging rupees 800 Preeti to submit a fake citizenship forms and issue bogus Hindu identity card. Over 700 such sham CAA camps are running across Bengal, reportedly with full backing from the BJP top brass in Delhi. No, it's okay. Someone will not accept that. What the BJP calls citizenship assistance. What is this citizen assistance? I mean, in a truth, a statewide extortion racket. This is nothing. This is extortion racket coming from the BJP with the help of Election Commission. And they say that अब गंगा बिहार से निकली है तो बंगाल तक जाएगी. गंगा पहली भी पवित्र थी, आज भी पवित्र है और हमेशा सदा पवित्र रहेगी. बीजेपी के काले हाथों से वो अशुद्ध कभी नहीं हो सकती.
All right, final comments, 2 minutes each. I want to bring in Shikha Mukherjee first. Shikha Mukherjee, till now, you had Mamata Banerjee, who was gatekeeping at least polarization at the back of Bengali Asmita. Do you think SIR could be the key to the lock of that gate?
Let's keep the two aside. One is a process and the other one is an emotion. that emotion is something that the BJP has unlocked for Mamata Banerjee by talking about the Bangladeshi language and saying that Bengali is not a language anyway. So, the language issue, Bengali pride, Bengali cultural pride is something which requires BJP needs to fathom what it is. It has never done so as yet. I mean, 2 days ago, some minister somewhere says that Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a lackey of the British. I mean, all of this is becoming a bit sordid. And if you look at how the SIR process is progressing, the SIR process is kind of stigmatizing people. It is doing things that will affect the BJP as well as the Trinamool Congress. If Bengalis, if migrants from across the border who felt that they were Indian citizens, who had papers to suggest that they were Indian citizens, are now being questioned and challenged that their documents are not adequate, then it becomes an issue for everyone, the BJP as well as the Trinamool Congress. The BJP has really no business to say that the SIR is all about removing fake or ineligible voters, people who have been inducted into the voters list by the Trinamool Congress for its own purposes. There are enough people here who are talking about how there has been this huge jump of 3 crores or so in the number of voters in the last few years. Having said that, is that jump something that it's all right for a civil society person to say it, for politics.
Fair point. Ma'am, time is up. I want to bring in Sanju Varma into this conversation. Sanju Varma, 2 minutes begins now. You can come in for a counter. Go ahead.
Preeti, nothing scares me more than the 2-minute, deadline that you give. चेहरे पे नकाब लिए फिरते हैं, जिनके खुद के बही खाते बिगड़े हुए हैं, वो आज मुझसे मेरा हिसाब मांगते फिरते हैं. This is for the opposition. पहले अपने बही खाते सारिए, बाद में मोदी सरकार से जवाबदेही मांगिए. I want to make one distinction because the TMC spokesperson spoke about CAA, NRC, what have you. CAA grants citizenship to persecuted minorities from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. The NRC is ready to identify legal Indian citizens, which has nothing to do with religion. Whereas the special intensive revision SIR is an electoral process to update and verify voter lists, which have nothing to do with either religion or citizenship. So I hope I have made the distinction between CAA, NRC and SIR completely clear. I want to just leave with some data. People who say SIR ki kya zarurat hai? The Muslim population 20 years back in West Bengal was 1.2 crore. It is 3.3 crore today as per Kolkata's longest serving mayor of the TMC, Firhad Hakim, which means there's 175% growth in Muslim population in barely 25 odd years. This is obviously not organic. Ghuspetia aaye hain, Rohingya aaye hain, and they have been mollycoddled by Mamata Banerjee. Just tell me one thing, Preeti. 20 years back in Murshidabad, the Muslim population was 37%. Today it's 67%. In Noida, it was less than 20%. Today it is 47%. SIR to zaruri hai na?
All right, I want to bring in Tausifur Rahman. Tausifur Rahman, at the back of what many are saying, the announcement of SIR, there is a build-up of alleged illegals wanting to cross over back to Bangladesh on the borders of West Bengal. This is what the BJP is saying is what the SIR will set right.
But Preeti, I have a simple logic. The border is always protected by the Home Minister, right? Amit Shah. And I don't know, in several times he's a failure, he's incompetent, he's not being able to stop anything, whether you call about Pulwama Pahalgam or Bangladesh borders connected with Barasat, Bengal. So, I mean, we don't care. It's all right. That's his duty. We don't want to interfere. If you think because of SIR, the Bangladeshis are going back, good for us. Where are we stopping? We are only concerned about those 12 crore people, 11 crore people staying in Bengal. And it is our responsibility to check out. But again, when Madam was talking about Matwas, the BJP is once again trying to deceive the Matwas with false promises. The so-called CAA camps are there. So I want to know whether the CAA and the SIR is running back to back. I mean, these camps are completely fake and have no legal basis. I mean, citizenship under the CAA is granted by the Ministry of Home Affairs. We do believe that. Not by any local BJP leader or member of a panchayat samiti. अरे ये लोग 800 रुपए करके आपको सिटीजनशिप दे रहे हैं. क्या चल रहा है ये? किसके अंडर चल रहा है? और संजू जी और यहाँ पर इतने बड़े-बड़े लोग, they are talking about SIR. अरे give this a name of voter rectification. It is true that in 2002 there was a voter rectification, but what you did with the Biharis, they don't even know why their name have been cut, and now will you say, show me one person who has gone to Supreme Court? भैया उनके छत के ऊपर सर नहीं है, सर पे छत नहीं है, खाने को पैसा नहीं है. You think they will travel all the way to Patna, Supreme Court, Delhi? अरे मैं समझ सकता हूँ. You people are anti-poor. You people never supported any poor. You can give freebies and take photos. That is the charitra of Narendra Modi. But that's okay. But when it's about Bengal, I tell again, if the SIR is happening, it's like under the limitation, it is fine. But even one legitimate name, if gets deleted, we are telling you again on national television, Abhishek Bandyopadhyay will march towards Delhi with 1 lakh people outside.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. We've totally run out of time. So the SIR exercise begins in the state of West Bengal. What would be the ramifications of that, political in nature? We'll keep a keen eye on. Thank you for all our panelists for joining us.